Hey everybody, Dr. Drake here. I wanted to talk about vacation. Vacation's awesome. We get to go, do something different, stay in a different bed, experience different things, experience different foods. And what I want to talk to you today about is stress. Everything that I just mentioned is a brand new stress for your body. So we always like to break stress down into three basic components, which is physical, chemical, and emotion, or your traumas, thoughts, and toxins. And your chemical stress is what we eat, drink, breathe, what we're exposed to, what we put into and on our bodies. Our physical stress is our slips, falls, accidents, repetitive motions, too much or too little exercise. And then emotional stress, that's probably the biggest one. It weighs heavy on everyone's mind. That's money, that's taxes, that's death and loss, and anything that stresses us out mentally where we have a physical reaction is a mental stress. And all of those stresses, the nervous system has to adapt to. And when that stress becomes too much for the body to adapt to, that's when we get neurological stress stuck on that system, which we call subluxation. That's our chiropractic word for it. But that stress stuck on the system keeps our bodies in fight or flight once it tips that scale. And so chiropractic's designed to give that adjustment to remove that stress to help the body to adapt to the stresses that it's under. So when people go on vacation, they often ask, should I get in right before I leave or right when I get back? My answer is always both, because we want to be well adjusted and ready for our vacation so we can have the best experience possible, especially if you're dealing with aches and pains and things like that. And then when you get back, after we've put our body through all of this stress, we want to get adjusted again to get us back on track again. And it's a constant struggle to go through that. So we just got back from vacation, and I'll tell you, we got to get ready to leave. That's the first stress, right? That's the mental stress. We have work stuff we got to get taken care of. We got to make sure someone's watching the dog. We got to make sure someone's mowing the yard. We got to make sure all of these things happen before we can ever leave town. And then we got to get everything packed. And if you're like us, we got kiddos, and we got to get all of their crap put together, not just ours, and get it all together. We got to find passports. We got to get airplane tickets. We got to find car rides. We got to do all those things and prep for the vacation so that we can go have a good time. And then we get to the airport and we go get frisked and we go get stuck in these long lines, and we sit around and we wait. And my 7-year-old certainly reminded me of how much waiting's involved when we're traveling and how stressful that can be. Because it's not just the stress of standing there and waiting and sitting in chairs for a long time. Those are physical stresses. It's when your kid gets bored and they're bouncing off the seats and we're getting frustrated with them. We're like, calm down, be patient. We're starting to lose our own patience as parents. That's a new stress. And then we're off our regular diet. We're eating out at the place, and we're eating the french fries, and we're eating the cheeseburgers, and we're eating the pizza, and we're having a good time. We're like, you know what? Bring on the big old fruity drink. I'm going to drink the volcano out of a bowl. And I love it, and it's fun. But that's the exception to the rule, and so therefore it becomes a stress. And then we finally get to our hotel or condo or whatever you're staying in, and you get there and you got a crappy bed and a crappy pillow, and you've been walking on a beach all day or something like that. And we don't do that on a daily basis. Most of us sit. Most of us have sedentary jobs. And even if you're up and moving around, when we're on vacation, we are on the go. Nonstop, every day. Even if you sit down and read a book for a couple hours, the rest of the time you are up and moving. We got to go find food. We got to go over here. We're going to go see that dolphin. We're going to go over here and see that forest and do that zip line. And all these things that you want to do are a new stress. And think about how often we just sit all day long, and then we go home and we have dinner, and then we sit some more. And then we get up on vacation, and for whatever reason we decide that we're just going to go for 12 hours a day. Imagine if you put that kind of effort into life, where you'd be. So all of that becomes new stress. So we're sleeping in a strange place, eating strange food, we're doing strange activities, and we're doing it all at a gross magnitude. And that puts undue stress on our spines, on our nervous systems, and on our health. So then we repeat the process, we go through the travel, we go through the frustration, and we get home. Now there's the letdown. Now we got to do the laundry. Now we got to get back to work. Now we got to go do all of those things that need to get done to get back into that normal pattern of life. And what I'm telling you right now is to get that adjustment, to get that tune up right before you leave, right when you get back, to live the fullest, healthiest life. You guys have a good day. We'll talk to you next time.